Brother Chad Ochocinco. Brother Chad Ochocinco. I did a little digging. Respectfully, my brother, respectfully. No shots under the belt. We being respectful here. But my brother Chad, I did a little digging. And I found out that you used to date a woman by the name, or you may have been married. I don't mind men's relationship business, so I wouldn't know your business. I'm too busy with my own business. It's called African liberation. But you were once dating or married to a 47-year-old woman named Evelyn Lozada. I hope I'm pronouncing Sister Evelyn's name correctly. But Chad Ochocinco Johnson used to date 47-year-old basketball wives star Evelyn Lozada. Now let me read a little something about Evelyn Lozada, Chad, because you said love is love. And why are we still stuck on this as if racism is a thing of the past? And since you think that racism is a thing of the past, Brother Chad, you didn't say that exactly, but that's what your words tend to suggest. I got to come out with the crown, because I'm about to go in one time. So, Brother Chad Ochocinco Johnson, since you think racism is a thing of the past and we still stuck, maybe you can explain to me why your ex-girlfriend or wife, Evelyn Lozada, was still stuck on anti-black bigotry of her own. Let me read this real quick. Reality television celebrates privilege of all types. Audiences are caught between a rock and a hypocritical hard place, praising the bad girl behavior that often drives the show ratings. 47-year-old basketball wives star Evelyn Lozada is the perfect example of pretty privilege gone wrong. Are you listening, Brother Chad? I'm talking about your ex. 47-year-old basketball wives star Evelyn Lozada is the perfect example of pretty privilege gone wrong. Since her introduction to the VH1 series back in 2010, because of her 10-year relationship as a former fiance to NBA superstar Antoine Walker, Evelyn Lozada has consistently fought, bullied, ridiculed, and shamed her cast mates. As one of the original cast members on the Basketball Wives show, Evelyn Lozada has waged war against any newbie who didn't bow down and kiss the ring. Evelyn Lozada has spewed racist insults. Chad Ochocinco, you got some explaining to do. Chad Ochocinco, you got some explaining to do. Chad Ochocinco Johnson, you got some explaining to do. I'm going to continue. If the incessant and hateful bickering isn't enough, Evelyn Lozada has committed some of the same colorist infractions that have landed her reality colleagues in hot water. In September of 2019, Evelyn Lozada posted a message on Instagram with a laughing orangutan. Let me repeat that. Back in 2019, Evelyn Lozada posted a message on Instagram with a laughing orangutan with the caption, "Everyone boycott this trash box. You are disgusting. Nobody watches you harder than the people that can't stand you." It didn't take a rocket scientist to realize she was referring to her castmate Ogum Oji Chijindu, who is of African descent. You posted a picture of an orangutan. Chad Johnson, your ex-girlfriend, posted a picture of an orangutan. Now, you're not responsible for what she does, Chad, but you were responsible for dating a woman with clear anti-black bigoted beliefs and feelings. Let me continue. But she insisted that it had nothing to do with her skin tone. That was a lie. She defended her words towards OG numerous times, including a candid towards OG interview in 2021 with infamous blogger Love B. Scott, and she said, quote, Evelyn Lozada said, quote, I will just say I have treated this person how I have treated her because I don't like her. And that has nothing to do with the shade of her skin or her race. That is a lie. Because if the way you treated that African woman, if the way you treated my Nigerian sister had nothing to do with the shade of her skin or her race, you would have never posted an orangutan. If the way you treated her had nothing to do with the shade of her skin or her race, you would have never posted an orangutan. And then you went on to say, if you look at the facts here, the only person bringing up color and race in a derogatory, divisive, and destructive way is her. Evelyn, you were being disingenuous. Evelyn, you were being disingenuous. Evelyn, you were being disingenuous. You posted an orangutan. You posted an orangutan, a monkey, a beast, an animal, in referring to that black woman. Evelyn later referred to a fellow OG castmate, Jackie Christie, as a cockroach. This is the woman you were dating, Chad Ochocinco Johnson, because you want to know why we still stuck. But you dated a woman who was clearly stuck on anti-black racism, Chad Ochocinco. You said, why we still stuck on this in 2023? But you clearly dated a woman and may have been married to her, although you're no longer with her now. You clearly dated a woman who had anti-black, bigoted feelings, and you continue to date her, and you may have even married her, my good brother. So don't talk about why black people still stuck on race when you were married to a racist. Don't talk about why black people are still stuck on race when you were married to a racist. Don't talk about why black people still stuck on race when you were married to a racist, Brother Chad. Now let's continue. Your ex-girlfriend, Evelyn Lozada, called her castmate Jackie Christie a cockroach during an argument. And yet in another BBW verbal altercation, she referred to CC Gutierrez as Ling Ling. Initially, she insisted the term wasn't used as a racial slur. However, after being admonished by Black Twitter, she acquiesced and apologized, stating she never meant to hurt anyone and was deeply sorry. She has since shared that she identifies as an Afro-Latino. How convenient when your ass is under fire. So after calling people monkeys and after calling people cockroaches, she now wants the world to know that she identifies as an Afro-Latino. Kind of reminds me of Erica Mena a couple weeks ago. Kind of reminds me of Erica Mena a couple weeks ago. Kind of reminds me of Erica Mena a couple weeks ago, who called a co-star a monkey, for which she was fired. And Sister Erica Mena happens to be Puerto Rican and Dominican, and your ex-girlfriend or ex-wife, Chad, Miss Evelyn Lozada, was a 47-year-old Puerto Rican. And I by no means am claiming that all of my Afro-Puerto Rican sisters harbor anti-black sentiment, but as someone who grew up in a Puerto Rican neighborhood and lived around Puerto Ricans for a long time, if I'm going to be absolutely honest here, a lot of Puerto Ricans of African descent have very strong anti-black beliefs, very strong anti-black feelings, and very strong anti-black behavior. If we're going to call a spade, we're going to call it a spade. So you were dating a racist Afro-Latino who clearly does not identify as black. But before I let you go, Brother Chad, because I'm about done with you. Before I let you go, Brother Chad, because I'm about done with you. Before I let you go, Brother Chad, because I'm about done with you. Before I let you go, Brother Chad, because I'm about done with you, you're currently married to another woman of Latino descent. Shout out to all my Afro-Latino queens who identify with the African race, which takes nothing away from your Latina ethnicity. It takes nothing away from your Puerto Rican nationality. It takes nothing away from your Dominican Republic nationality. It takes nothing away from your Cuban nationality. But Cuban, Puerto Rican, and Dominican are not races. They are nationalities. There is no Puerto Rico before 1521. There is no Puerto Rico before 1521. There's no place in the world called Puerto Rico before 1521. So you clearly have a racial heritage that predates the island called Puerto Rico. And for those Puerto Ricans who proudly identify with the African family and are still allowed to be proud Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, and Cubans, they're still allowed to be proud Latinos and Latinas. I salute you. But for you anti-black Afro-Latinos who hate the African blood in your veins, you can respectfully go to hell. But Chad, before I let you go, Chad Ocho Cinco, before I let you go, Chad Ocho Cinco, before I let you go, you're with another Latina, another light-skinned Latina. And I'm not going to discriminate because African is African, whether they are African vanilla or African lemonade or African pina colada or African fudge. But I am pointing out, Brother Chad, that you seem to love light-skinned Latina women. Your current queen, much respect to Sister Sherelle Rosado, much respect to our sister Sherelle Rosado. She is a mixed race Afro-Latino. She has a white father and a black mother. She has a white father and a black mother. She has a white father and a black mother. Now, I don't know if the father is a white Latino or the mother is a black Latino. I don't know if the father is a white Latino. I don't know if the mother is a black Latina. But Brother Chad, I want to ask you a question and then I'm going to get off of you. Brother Chad, I'm going to ask you a question and then I'm going to get off. Brother Chad Ocho Cinco Johnson, I'm going to ask you a question and then I'm going to get off of that. And that is this, my dear brother. Why do you seem to have a preference for light-skinned Latina or mixed race women? Why do you seem to have that preference? As a Pan-Africanist, I don't care where the black woman comes from. I don't care if she's Puerto Rican, as long as she's proud to be African. I don't care if she's Dominican Republic, as long as she's proud to be African. I don't care if she's Cuban, as long as she's proud to be African. I don't care if she's Panamanian, Angolian, Nigerian, Texan, Pennsylvanian, New Yorkian. It don't make a difference to me as long as she is African affirming in her identity. But Evelyn Lozada clearly was not someone who was neither proud or who chose to identify with her African heritage. That's clear by the way she attacked black women. So your ex, clearly, your ex-girl, ex-wife, Evelyn Lozada, she clearly had no affinity for her African heritage. Brother Chad, and I don't know the answer to this, I'm just asking. Your current wife, Sherelle Rosado, does she identify with the African race? Or does she identify with her white daddy? I'm just asking a question. Because I'm having a problem with you, sir, who is wondering why black people still stuck on loyalty to the community. Chad Ocho Cinco Johnson is worried why black people are still stuck on loyalty to the community. But Brother Chad, you still stuck on light-skinned black women from other countries, which is fine as a Pan-Africanist. But to me, it looks like you discriminate against all black women and you prefer light-skinned Latino or mixed race women. So why are you so stuck on light-skinned women? Why are you so stuck on Latino women? Why are you so stuck on mixed race women, my dear brother Chad Ocho Cinco Johnson? I would like you to answer that at some point. Now, some of you are going to say that Chad and Shannon have children with black women. Some of you are going to say, Chad and Shannon have children with black women, so they clearly don't have a snow bunny bias, even though Shannon dates nothing but snow bunnies. Some of you are going to argue that they don't have a snow bunny privilege. Excuse me, a snow bunny bias. Chad doesn't have a light-skinned Latina bias because he got children with black women. Shannon has children with black women, so he clearly don't have a preference for snow bunnies, even though that's all he dates. Well, I got news for you. That argument is useless and futile. Do you know why? Why is the argument that Chad and Shannon have children with black women, why does that not disqualify them as being light-skinned supremacists or snow bunny supremacists? You know why? Thomas Jefferson had a whole plantation of children by black women. It didn't stop him from being a racist. I said Thomas Jefferson had a whole plantation of black children with black women. George Washington had a whole plantation of black children with black women. So what are we talking about? Don't we have racist Southern Republicans who fathered black children with black women? Did that stop them from being racist? Did that stop them from being the bigot? Did that stop them from being white supremacists? So don't come to me and say just because a black man had children with a black women, that means that they don't prefer light skin or white skin. You Negroes are out of your mind. You Negroes are out of your mind. You Negroes are out of your mind. Thomas Jefferson had a whole plantation of children with black women. George Washington had a whole plantation of children with black women. Just because you laid down and made a baby with a black woman does not mean you don't think light skin is better. And it does not mean you don't think white women are better. Cut the nonsense out. Cut the nonsense out. I want to come to Taye Diggs for a minute. I want to come back to Taye Diggs for a minute. First of all, Taye Diggs, I salute you. I salute Taye Diggs. You know why? Because you are one of the few black male celebrities who canceled your Snow Bunny contract. I said I salute Taye Diggs because you are one of the few black male celebrities who woke up to your African consciousness